I made a video like this a while back, I think in 2019, towards the end of December. Pretty outdated, so I figured I'd make a new one for all you guys who are trying to learn. Now, I know a lot of you want to learn Octane, but in today's video, I'm just going to be teaching you how to do cycles. Octane is a lot more complicated. Maybe I'll make another video like that in the future if we can get 50 likes on this video. But anyways, guys, let's get straight into it. So in the description, I'm going to have a couple links. One of the first links you're going to want to go to is the Blender 2.90 link. You want to click on that, and once you're on here, you want to just download this. Once that's downloaded and installing, it's going to pop up with a thing to install it. Once you have it installed, we can go ahead and open it up. Now, my Blender is probably going to look a lot different than yours because I have the Octane edition. But once you get in here, there's going to be a couple things. So your render engine, it'll probably already be on cycles or Eevee for you. Mine's on Octane, so I'm just going to switch to cycles. Once we're on here, you're going to see device. Now, it could say CPU and GPU compute. For you, if you click GPU compute and it's grayed out, what you want to do is you want to come up to edit in the top left, go to preferences. Once you're in here, you want to go to system, and then if you have a NVIDIA GPU, you want to come to CUDA, select your GPU here. I have a 1650, or if you have an AMD graphics card, you want to go to OpenCL. If you don't have either, then you're gonna have to render with your CPU. You'll know if you have a graphics card or not if it will show here, or if you just simply look in your computer and you see that you have a graphics card. But anyways, once you're done that, you want to just click save preferences. Now we can close out of this. Another thing you want to do is you want to open the sampling tab here. For render, I recommend making this 500. This is like the sampling of where your render is going to come out as. It's the number of samples to render for each pixel. For viewport, this one doesn't really matter because this is just it's going to show up here when you do the render view. For me, I just like to do 500, just keep it the same. Then we can close that tab. We can uncheck hair, and then you want to come down to film, open this, and you want to click transparent. Another thing we can do real quick is you're going to see these panels. You're just going to have this TV, this little picture, and then these 4 pictures. You want to close these 2 tabs, and if you have denoise in here, you just want to click that, and you're good. Okay, so now, before we get any skins in Blender, what we can do is we can start working on the HDRI. So to do that, you want to come up to the top of your screen where all these tabs are. You want to find the shading tab. It should be in the middle. Once you're here, you're going to see this world thing, and you're going to see a bunch of like complicated numbers and stuff here. For you, this is going to look a lot different. Again, I'm using a different version of Blender, so this is why mine looks like this. For now, I'm just going to delete these 2 things, and you should have both of these if you're just using normal cycles. Then what we can do right here is we can click the add button up here. We can search, and we can find environment texture. Once you have this here, you want to plug the color into the other color for this little green node. Now what you guys want to do is you want to go in the description again, and you want to go to this site called HDRI Haven. Now this is where you're going to get all your HDRIs. And HDRI is basically just the light map. You can see here there's some pictures. This is basically what it's going to look like in your scene, the lights and everything like that. So what you want to do is when you're on the site, you want to just go to the search bar right here, type in Delta, click enter, and then here it is, Delta 2. Now we can scroll down, and I recommend downloading either the 4K or 2K version. I'm just going to download 2K for the sake of video, and you want to just save this wherever you want to. I'm just going to save it in this folder. Okay guys, once that's done downloading, we can come back to Blender, and this environment texture thing here, it's going to say new or open. We can click on open, find wherever you just saved the HDRI, and you want to just double click on that, and that will open it. Now guys, we can get a skin. So I already made a tutorial a while ago on how to port skins. I might make a newer version of that because I get a lot of comments on that one still because there's some things I didn't really teach that right. But for now, I'm going to leave a link in the description to a little model pack where there's going to be a bunch of models for cycles, and you can just go through there, and if there's something in there that you like, you can use that. Okay guys, once you have the skin that you want to come up to the top left where it says file. You want to go down to append, and then wherever your skin is, you want to just go to there. And then once you find your skin, for the sake of this video, I'll just use the aura skin. So you want to click on it. Once you have this open here, you want to click object, and then you want to just double click on the .mo thing, and then there you go, there's your skin. Now if you're worried why it's like white like this for now, yours might have the textures already. What you want to do is in the top right here, there's going to be these little shading things. You want to click on the viewport shading one, so the third from the left. Now guys, that we have the skin here, what we can do is in the top right over here, again where we have the viewport shading, we can click on the last one on the right. Okay, so here's our skin with the lighting. If it does this little pixely thing, it's just because it's re-rendering because you're moving around. For now, we're going to start on posing. So you want to do is, before we do the posing, we can actually get a camera in the scene. So I already have one. But what you want to do that is you want to come in the top left. You're going to see like object mode, view, select, add object. You want to go to add, and then just click camera. I already have one, so I'm not going to do it. Once you have the camera in, it should just like be randomly posed on here. Okay, once you have the camera, you want to select it, and in all these options, you want to come and find the little camera option. Should be a little green camera. Once you're in here, you're going to see lens and then focal length. By default, the focal length should be around 50. I personally like to use somewhere between 30 to 40. All up to you. You can figure that out. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to use 35. So now what we can do is we can select this like orange looking option. I don't know really what it's called, but once you have that selected and you're on the camera, what we can do up here in the top is there's going to be a little camera button. It should say toggle the camera view. I'm going to click on that, and as you can see, we're in the camera now. Now over here on the right, it should say transform, and you have like location, rotation, and then scale. With the location, the Y is going to be forwards and backwards, Z will be up and down, and then X will be left to right. Same thing with the rotation. This is going to be up, this is going to be your side to side, and this is going to be like tilting. So what we can do for now is we can just position the camera how we want it in front of the character. Usually I like to get at least from the top of the waist to the top of the head for the character, and I just like to play around with the rotations and stuff like that and just make sure that the character looks good. Also, you can do the same thing with the character when it comes to rotating and moving it. All you have to do is just select on the bones here, like that, and then you can just move this around like this. This is rotation. I usually like to do that. Now I'm going to make this go up a bit, put this aside like this, and I'll put the camera down a bit. Guys, so once you like what your camera looks like, obviously we haven't posed yet, so the camera might change once you're done posing. Now we'll move on to the posing. So I'm just going to do a simple pose with the skin holding a gun. So again, in the description there will be a model pack with guns probably in it too. I think there should be. What you want to do is once you have that, you want to port in the scene. Same thing that we did for the skin is you want to go to File, Append, wherever you have it saved, you want to just go there. Find whatever weapon. I'm probably just going to use the SCAR, and then again object, double click .mo, and then it should be at the bottom of the scene here. Okay, so now that's in the scene, we're actually going to start posing. So I'm just going to make a simple pose of her holding the gun. Basically what we want to do, we can take this out for now so we don't have to, it's on the way. What you want to do is you want to make sure you select on the bones, and in the top left you're going to see object mode, edit mode, and then pose mode. You want to go to pose mode. Now once you're in here, on the left side also you have a bunch of tools like this move tool. As you can see, this is going to move her hair. It's a better example if I use the arm. This will move her hair. This is to rotate stuff. And then the other ones you don't really need to worry about. This is like to scale it. You don't really need that. And the other one is just a transform type thing. Also, another thing you want to do is at the top here, it's going to say global by default, I think. You want to make sure this is selected on local. And then right next to it, there's going to be like these two little circles. It should be on median point by default. And you want to just make sure that's on individual origins. Now, guys, you can go ahead and just start posing, do whatever you want. I'm just going to go for a simple pose of her holding the gun. So you just want to play around with it, honestly. Play around with moving the bones around and the arms around and stuff like that. Until you get something you like. This looks really weird right now. Okay, guys, so now I'm finished doing just this little arm for the pose. So I can add the gun now. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I usually scale the guns to about 0.009 and the skins 0.011. So once I have this here, I'm just going to play with this, move it around again like what I said with the pose. You just want to move it around until you get what you're looking for. I think that looks about good. Maybe if I rotate it this way. And then obviously after, you can always like move the gun around in hand, stuff like that. Also, another quick tip, if you want to select multiple things to move at the same time, like fingers, if you're doing what I'm doing with the gun, you can just drag to select all of them, deselect the ones you want by holding shift and then clicking on them. That'll deselect them. And then what you can do is, as long as you have individual origins on, like I showed before, when you move them, they all should just move together like this. Now, I know it's going into the gun, her fingers, but you don't really see this side, so I usually just leave it like this. You won't really see it, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, guys, so once you have it posed how you like, let's say you're doing a gun like what I'm doing. What I usually like to do is select on the gun, and you want to come to all the options on the right side again, and there's going to be like this weird like little circle thing that transitions to a smaller circle. It should say object constraint properties when you hover over it. If you just look at the screen on the tutorial, you'll see it. Once you're in here, it's going to say add object constraint. You want to click on that, and on the right side there's going to be a couple options. You want to go to child of. Once you're here, you want to click target, and then if you're using two skins, it might show two different ones, but I'm only using one. So as you can see, Winter Hunter, and you want to make sure you click the .ao and not the .mo. Once you click that, we can go to bone, and we can type in hand or whatever you want to link it to. I'm linking it to the right hand, so I can just select hand_r. Now you might be confused because the gun's on here. You want to just click clear inverse and then click set inverse, and then there you go. Now if we go to pose mode on the hand, when we move the hand around, the gun will move with it. Okay, I'm just going to speed this process up, but I'm going to finish the rest of the pose, and I'll be back to you guys in a second. Okay guys, so for the most part, I've finished the pose when it comes to the hands and the gun and stuff like that. Now I'm going to move on to posing the face, because as you can see right now, she just has a blank expression. Now for this part, I like to go in the camera view, just so I can see what I'm working with, because I usually like to make sure the eyes are looking towards the camera or looking away, whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the camera around a bit. Like I showed you before, you want to come to this little like object or transform orange option thingy, and you can just play around with the camera angle from here, moving it like up and down. You can rotate it however you want. Just play around with it until you get something you like. Okay, guys, so I've positioned the camera in a way I like it. Now I'm going to move on to posing the face. So again, you can go back into pose mode. Once you're in here, I usually like to move the neck bones around. One little thing you can do so you can see which bones are which, because I've been doing this for a long time now, so I know like which bones are where. Once you're just in the pose mode, if you see this little stick man figure thingy on these options, you want to click on that, and then you want to go to viewport display, and then there's going to be an option that says name. Now you can turn this on, and it's going to show the names for every bone. So you can see here, this is Neko 1. I don't like to have this on because it's kind of distracting. And I already know where all the bones are, but if you want to use that, that helps a lot. Yeah, so same thing like I said before, you kind of just want to play around with it until you get something you like. I like to usually just make the neck like towards the camera, and then I like to zoom in, and what you can do is you can select both the eyes, and you can rotate them together that way, like they're both looking at the camera like how you want it. Another thing I like to do is play around with like the eyelids and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter, like whatever you're going for, whatever type of look you're going for, angry, sad, mad, whatever. You just want to play around with it until you get something you like. Okay, so this is just a basic little pose. I'm not really going to spend too much more time on it. It's just for the tutorial. But once you're happy with it, what we can do is we can go into the render view, just see what it looks like for liking it. I personally don't like cycles. I use Octane more. But this is what it looks like for now. Now I'm going to add some rim lights. I'll show you guys how to do that. Okay, guys, so now we're going to add some lights in the back just to, make the scene feel more real. What you can do is you can go to add light, and you want to click area. Now this little light's going to be down here. The little line that's coming out of it is where the light's going to be going towards. So what you can do is just position it behind the character. You don't want to do it too close, or else it's going to be too strong, but you also don't want to do it too far, or else you're not going to be able to see the rim light. So you kind of just want to play around with it, get it like right in the perfect spot. I usually like to add at least 3 coming from different angles, 1 from each side, and then 1 coming from like the top, kind of like this. Again, you can use the transform option over here just to like move these around. It's a lot easier than using these tools. But once you have something, we can go into the camera, go to the view, and now you can see I need to make them a bit closer, but as you can tell from before, now there's a little bit of light coming from under. Again, I will make these a bit closer, that way you can see them. Just like that. It should be a bit better. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's just a thumbnail for the tutorial, but this is what it should look like for now. Once you're happy with that, what you can do is in the top left, you're going to see File, Edit, and then Render. You want to click Render, and then Render Image. Now, depending on how slow your computer is, or how good your computer is, or if you're rendering with a GPU, CPU, whatever it is, the render time may vary for you. Usually a Cycles render takes me about 5 minutes, as well as Octane, but I'm just going to let it speed up, and I'll get back to you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so just finished rendering. Now what you want to do is in the top, you're going to see image. Once you click on that, you're going to see save as, and you can save this wherever you want. I have a specific folder for them, so I'm just going to save in here. I'm going to title it like Blender tutorial. Again, you can do whatever you want. Now that's saved, we can close this tab, and I usually like to save the scene. You don't have to, but I'm just going to do it just because. Again, I have a specific folder for that. Now we can close Blender. Now we're going to open Photoshop. If you do not have it, you can just go on YouTube and search up like Photoshop free download. That's what I did to get mine. I'm not sure exactly which video it is, or else I would link in the description. But if you just search it up, I'm sure you'll find a video that works. Once you have Photoshop installed, or if you already have it installed, we can go ahead and open this. We can go to Open, and then wherever you save the render, you just want to go to that folder, again renders, and then mine is under Blender tutorial. There it is. Now once we have this open, I'm going to leave another link in the description to this tweet by my boy Godify. Make sure you go drop him a follow as well. It's basically a free chapter 2 season 4 background pack by him. Now you have to do a couple rules. You're going to have to follow both these guys, Xavier Arts and Godify, retweet and like the post, and then they'll send in your DMs. I already have the pack download, but make sure you go and do this, and this is just a free screenshot pack. Okay guys, so once you have that downloaded, I'm just going to go ahead and open it wherever I have it saved. I'm just going to go through these backgrounds and find one that I like. Okay guys, whenever you find a background that you like, I like this one. It's the top of the Frenzy Farm. You just want to drag it over into the top Blender tutorial and put in your scene. We can drag this behind the character, and I usually like to just play with the background positioning and stuff like that. Maybe make it a bit bigger, scale it and stuff like that. Once you like how it looks, we can go to the top where it says filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur. I usually like to do about 2.5 or 3, somewhere between there. Now as you can tell, this looks very dry. We're gonna add some color correction to this. So what you can do is select the top layer, which should be the render, and then in the bottom right you're gonna see all these little options. There's 7 of them. The one in the middle, that's like a little circle that's half filled in. You want to click on that, and this is where like all your color correction stuff gonna be. So first I'm gonna use vibrance, and we can play around with this. This is gonna make it a bit more saturated and vibrant. Then we can go back down there, get a brightness one to make this a bit brighter, play with the contrast maybe a bit. Again, this is not my best work. I usually like to use Octane, which looks a lot nicer than this, and I have a specific color correction I use, but I don't really want to show that in the video. But yeah, you want to just go through here, play around with different things, try different things, like exposure. I usually use like exposures, saturation stuff, photo filters and stuff like that until I get something I really like. Also, I like to add a brightness behind the character on the background, just make the background a bit more vibrant, especially that blue sky. Another thing you can do with that is take a soft brush, 0 hardness, we can scale this up a bit, and then you just want to get like a blue color, like a light blue, and just color in the sky a bit. And then we can go to up here where it says normal, this is like your blend mode, and put it to like screen. As you can see, there's a difference. You don't have to do this, I like to do this. It just makes the sky a bit more vibrant. Now what we can do is we can select the render layer, and on the keyboard you can do Control J. That's going to make a copy of it. You want to select the one at the bottom, and if you do Control U, that's going to open like this little hue and saturation thing. Where it says lightness, you want to drag this all the way to 100, and you can click OK. Then we want to go back up to the top where we blurred the thing before. Go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and you can play with this a bit until you get something you like. This is just going to add a bit of outer glow and make it blend with the background a bit more. So I'm going to go with 12.5, and then I'm going to change the blend mode to overlay. As you can see, there's a bit of a difference. Again, with this, you just want to play around with it until you get something you like. Even using like the soft brush as well, that's white, you can just like color around the head and stuff near the sky. Just get something you really like. Now guys, once you're done that, you want to go to the top layer here, and on your keyboard this is going to be a lot. You want to do Control, Shift, Alt, and then E. So like you want to hold all those and then press E. It's going to like merge everything into one big layer at the top. And then you want to go up to Filter in the top, and then go to Camera Raw Filter. Now I have a specific Camera Raw setting I use, but if you go in here you can play around with it. This is more stuff that's going to help with the CC, like the color correction, stuff like that. But I'm just going to load the preset I have. Okay guys, so as you can see, this is the difference with the Camera Raw and without. It doesn't make a big difference depending on what you use with the Camera Raw. But once you're happy with the thumbnail, you can go ahead and go to the top left, click File, and then Save As. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe, like, turn on post notifications. I'm going to probably make another tutorial on how to port skins so you can get any skin you want from the game, because I do have a tutorial, but it's pretty outdated. If you want to see that, make sure to let me know in the comments. If we get 50 likes, I'll probably start working on that. Yeah guys, that's been it for me. I'll see y'all later. Peace.